Hello everyone and welcome back to another Star Wars figure review. Today we're taking a look at another figure from the Black Series 6-inch line. This character comes to us from Season 1 of Star Wars The Mandalorian, and it is of course none other than the vapor farming, blurg riding Ugnaught himself, Kuiil. This is a fantastic figure. Hasbro really have done a terrific job with this one. Everything from the articulation, accessories, sculpt and detail really do tick all the boxes. And considering the fact that Kuiil was one of my favourite characters from Season 1 of The Mandalorian, he was an absolute must-have for the collection, and I cannot recommend this figure enough. Now, with that being said, if you want to add this figure to your own collection, as always, there's a link down below in the video description where you can do so. That will take you to staractionfigures.co.uk, and at the time of filming this review, he is in stock now and available to buy. Once again, can't recommend this figure enough. He is absolutely fantastic, but I can't help but feel this is a somewhat bittersweet release, as in my book, Kuiil should have been released alongside a blurg. Hopefully, somewhere down the line, Hasbro have plans to release one. I think that would have really tipped this figure over the top, but as a figure in his own right, again, Kuiil is superb. So we're going to take a look at him in just a little bit, but as always, we're going to kick this review off by taking a look at the packaging that this figure comes in. Now, as you can see, we do get the brand new Black Series packaging design for this figure. Down at the bottom, we have a colour-coded call-out for the series in which the character appears. And then down the side of the box, you've got this really nice image of Kuiil, which looks absolutely fantastic. And obviously, when you line it up with other boxes within the Black Series and from The Mandalorian, you create this really nice mural image of characters, which looks really, really cool indeed. And then as you can see at the top, we have those aforementioned blurgs. On the reverse side of the box, you've got the number in the series for the figure. You've got that image once again and a brief description of the character. So pretty standard stuff in terms of packaging. Again, as I've said in previous reviews, I really like the fact that this packaging is 100% recyclable. The fact that you can separate the plastic and the cardboard is an absolute winner in my book. But you didn't come to this review for the packaging, you came to take a look at the figure. So let's waste no time, let's take a look at what we get inside. So here is Kuiil in all his glory. Once again, an absolute stunning figure and a great addition to the Black Series 6-inch line. This is our first Ugnaught in the Black Series, and hopefully this means that Hasbro are planning more aliens for the Black Series 6-inch line. I'm an absolute sucker for aliens, and hopefully somewhere down the line Hasbro are planning some Ugnaughts from The Empire Strikes Back as well. They've certainly got the groundwork here with Kuiil. I think Ugnaughts in the Black Series would make a really nice addition. But again, I digress. That's not to take away from this figure. What I really like about this one, as I mentioned at the beginning of the review, is just the overall level of detail that's been applied. The sculpt is absolutely fantastic, but it's the paint applications and detail that really take this one to the next level. The head sculpt in particular is absolutely incredible. It looks just like the mask worn by the actor in the series. From what I understand, Kuiil was a combination of practical and CGI effects in The Mandalorian, but the likeness is captured really well. And obviously you've got that photoreal face printing technology applied, which really does give a whole another level of depth and realism to these figures, and Kuiil is certainly no exception. You've got great detail, particularly around the eyes. Detail really nicely brought out in the facial hair as well. Just the head sculpt itself is just absolutely stunning, and certainly in my opinion one of the best from the Black Series so far in terms of overall likeness. Now that detail does continue throughout the rest of the figure. You've got these nice fabric and stitched effects going on in the costume, as you can see, particularly around the scarf. That's really nicely applied. Got that fabric texture going on in the costume itself. Even the belt buckle, for example, is a really nicely sculpted and painted piece. Lots of detail brought out there through the paint applications. As you can see, the pouches on the belt and the backpack have this really nice fake leather texture going on as well. As I mentioned, there's just a whole another level of detail going on with this figure. I can't stress to you enough how cool and lifelike this figure looks. It's certainly one of those figures that you have to get in hand to truly appreciate it. Even the gloves are really well sculpted. Very impressed with this one. As I said, he does come with his fair share of articulation, despite his diminutive stature. Obviously, Kuiil is a little bit shorter than your average character, but Hasbro didn't skimp on the posability with this guy. So we do have a ball joint at the head. What's really cool is the fact that there's a ball joint in the base of the neck and the top of the head, so you get a really nice fluid range of movement there. He can look up, down, all around. Really, really nice posability up there. We have hinges at the shoulders and at the elbows, hinges in the wrists. We also have a ball joint at the torso. On my sample it's a little bit tight, that needs a little bit of wear just to loosen that up, but it's there, rest assured. We also have hinges at the hips, so if Hasbro were to make a blurg for the Black Series, he would have no problem riding that. We also have swivels at the upper thigh, a hinge in the knee which is really well hidden. As you can see, the articulation point itself blends and flows really nicely into the creases and folds of the costume, and obviously with that modern approach to articulation engineering, there are no pins visible on the side of the leg, which is really, really nice to see. We also have hinges and a rocker at the ankle to finish things off, and again, great posability with this figure. You can really get him in some great poses, and again, hopefully somewhere down the line, and I'm going to keep hammering this home, Hasbro release a blurg for this figure to ride. He's certainly got the qualifications. But yeah, really, really nice looking figure. With regards to accessories, he comes with his fair share. The backpack and scarf are sculpted together as one solid piece, but if you pop off the head of Kuiil, this slots off and can be removed. Now, for the purposes of time, I'm not going to do that, but rest assured that's something you can do if you wish to remove it. What's really cool and surprised me in particular was the fact that the helmet is removable as well. This isn't a sculpted piece, which is really, really nice to see. I expected this to either be glued into place or sculpted to the head, but you can remove it, and that gives you another great look at that head sculpt underneath. As I said, got some really nice detail applied to the facial hair, the hair on the back of his head, and of course he's got those little Ugnaught ears poking out as well. So really, really nice head sculpt on this one, and again, that helmet is removable and is a nice snug fit. Now again, one thing that really would have made this figure slightly better, again, he's very, very cool, but one thing that would have made him even cooler is if the goggles on the helmet were a separately sculpted piece and could be repositioned over the eyes. However, if I were Hasbro and I were planning to release a blurg in the near future, I'd definitely release a retool of this figure, give fans and collectors a variation of the character, and release Kuiil with those goggles positioned over his eyes. I think that would be a really, really nice addition. Not that I'm giving Hasbro any ideas. I know they milk us dry already, but that would be a very cool addition in my opinion. Now, the final accessory this figure comes with, and is, in my opinion, the only flaw of the figure, is this blaster rifle, which is in its own right a really nicely sculpted piece. It looks the part, as you can see. It's a simple design, but what I really like about this is that you've got this wood grain texture going on in the stock and in the grip, which is really nicely done. The strap is separately sculpted as well, so you can reposition that as you like, and it can be flung over the figure's shoulder. But with regards to the grip of the blaster, it's a little bit too thick, and as such can't really be placed, at least not easily, in the figure's hand. Now, Kuiil's hands are made of a soft, malleable plastic, so you can eventually get it in there, but he doesn't quite fit his finger into the trigger, which is a little bit of an issue for me personally. Kuiil isn't a violent character anyway, as we've seen from the show, so he doesn't really tend to draw arms, but if he did, he wouldn't be able to hold his blaster very well. But thankfully, due to the strap, it can be flung over his shoulder, and he can be displayed like that instead. So no immediate problems there from me, no complaints, but just something to point out about the figure itself. But with regards to the figure, again, cannot recommend this one enough. Despite that slight flaw, the figure itself looks absolutely fantastic. If you're a fan of the Mandalorian, this is definitely one that I'd recommend tracking down and adding to your display. And he just looks really, really cool. Once again, he looks like he jumped right off the screen and into our collections. and as such I cannot say enough good things about him. So definitely recommend picking up Kuiil and adding him to your collection. So there he is. Very cool figure indeed. So that is going to wrap things up on this review on Kuiil from Star Wars The Black Series. Another great addition to the collection and a figure that, once again, I highly recommend picking up. As always, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a comment down below in the comments section. Give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and I'll be back with some more Black Series 6-inch figure reviews very soon. I've also got some reviews planned on figures from the vintage collection, so stay tuned for those. And until next time, as always, I'd like to thank you for watching, keep collecting, and may the Force be with you.